As you can see, we are not in TCO studios anymore. We're out here in California at the NFL Network and on the set of Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. And Daniel, thank you for being in here and letting us borrow your studio for the day.
Oh, come on in. The more the merrier. Let's go.
Yeah, you were at the Chargers game last night. This NFL has been kind of crazy in the first 6 weeks. I don't think you could have predicted a lot of what's going on with these teams, but the Vikings have been out to a 5-1 start. And I figured this bye week is a good time to maybe ask you a little bit about some of the best so far this season. So we're just going to put you to the test real fast. The first one's really easy. Best moment so far in this season for this Vikings team.
Oh, the best moment for me so far in this season for the Vikings didn't take place on the field. It took place on the plane. I mean, Kirk, I've known Kirk for a long time, going back to when he was coming out and studying him for the draft. So to see him completely iced out but with, I believe, his original sunglasses, I think to me that's the
white tee tucked in.
Yes, exactly.
Very important part of the ensemble.
100%.
Very important part. You know, it's funny. I talked to Christian Darrisaw last week. He said that Kirk is just acting different. He just plays more free. He's just being a more loose guy in the locker room, and I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think he's comfortable. You know, he's got a chance. He's had success. He's put together some really good seasons, and now I think you're seeing just, let his proverbial hair down and just kind of relax and be comfortable. And he's got a good group. I mean, when you look at the group they've built around him and you look at some of the young pieces emerging up front on the offensive line to go along with Dalvin, Justin, and Thielen and all the other pieces that they have, it's just, I think we're seeing the best of Kirk right now.
I could not agree more with you. It's fun to see Kirk have a little fun as well. I'm going to go to the next one, and that is the most valuable veteran.
Oh, most valuable veteran. Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm going to go Danielle Hunter.
Okay.
It's just been great to see him out there healthy and kind of looking back to, the guy that he was. He looks like himself. Yeah. So that's been encouraging to see. And this is a team, I think, when you can get a pass rush, that's kind of been a missing ingredient for them. And having him healthy and doing his thing's been fun to watch. I
love that you picked that one because Danielle's really trying to transition to not having his hand on the ground. And it's been a learning process, but it has been nice to see him out there and making quite the bond with Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith's been an unbelievable ad. I thought it was interesting. Some people said when he goes there, this is a get back to the Vikings thing. First of all, nobody does that. Nobody goes to work to get back at somebody. This is not a high school relationship. You go where you feel like you're believed in, you have the best opportunity to play well and win. And man, it's been a great fit.
Well, speaking of good fits and new faces, and you can pick Z if you want to. I know we kind of jumped the gun on this one, but best new face on this Vikings team.
I mean, I would like to tell you somebody else, but how do I not pick him?
Fine.
It's just as Mike Mayock would always say, it's a low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to go ahead and pluck it right there. Zadarius has been great, and knowing where he came from in my time in Baltimore and seeing kind of how he grew up in this league, there's just a different toughness to those guys, and I think that was a little piece that you add to that group. It's been just it's exactly what they needed. The
locker room describes themselves as having more grit this season and being able to face the adversity and end up on the other side of things where they didn't end up a lot last year, for
100%.
Sure. All right, best touchdown of the year. It could be style points. It could be more meaningful. You get the pick.
Best touchdown of the year. Gosh. Jefferson had the long one early. I'm trying to remember who that was against.
Packers, I believe. Right?
There you go. I'm trying to recall the play now. Refresh me on the play because
I couldn't even. I have to rewind.
We're saying Justin Jefferson, big explosive play against the Vikings.
So for me,
against the Packers.
Right. For me, it was the JJ touchdown in London, the international gritty.
Yeah.
To just walk right into there, and that was right when the Saints had taken the lead. So that one was for me. So I think it's hard not to give it to JJ.
Yeah, that's fair. I think he's going to be the answer no matter where you go, but I just think of games against the Packers, and I figure those mean a little more.
It does mean a little bit more. Well, best defensive play so far.
Oh my gosh.
There have been some moments.
All right, give me a couple finalists, and I'll pick
All right,
one.
We've got Cam Dantzler taking the ball away from Emil Smith-Marset to end the Bears game.
That's a good one.
Patrick Peterson getting the pick this past week against the Dolphins in his hometown.
Can you give me one more? I think I'm leaning Dantzler right now, but go ahead.
The Aaron Rodgers sack by Zadarius Smith, week 1.
I'm still gonna go Dantzler. I'm going Dantzler. Just taking the ball away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's the game. That's it.
100%. I think what we focused on a lot that week was the fact that the Vikings went to London, won, Then they had to play the next week, opted out of the bye. And without that play right there at the end, who knows what could have happened. You needed that win.
By the way, you can check me on this, but I think Dantzler ran like 4.63 or something like that coming through the combine. And he was such a good player on tape. And then all of a sudden, he didn't run as fast in the 40 time, and he drops all the way in the draft. And guess what? He's really good at football. Go figure. He's
having a fantastic season. Does it also correlate with the fact that Durante Jones is back in Minnesota?
No, you can point to that absolutely. To me, when you have ball skills and toughness, which he has, you're going to find a way to make plays.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, speaking of making plays, this is the final one. Might be my favorite now, though. The most special teamer.
Oh my gosh, the most special teamer.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to
I don't know. How much do you know about the Vikings special teams?
I will be honest with you. I have not spent a lot of time studying the Vikings special teams.
I figured I'd stump you in this last one.
Yeah, you
but
did.
If you haven't checked him out, you need to go check out punter Ryan Wright.
Okay.
He is 1 for 1 throwing, fake punt that week.
Okay.
He also, this past week against the Dolphins, had 6 punts inside the 20. No
I'm a big Ryan Wright guy.
No touchbacks
What can I say? Where did Ryan Wright go to college? That's the question for you.
I know this question.
Okay, what we got?
Tulane.
Okay, there. Green Wave.
Go Green
Wave. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you just for a little bit of a prediction before we wrap things up. The Vikings are now 3-0 in the division. They have a 2-game lead and all of the head-to-head tiebreakers right now.
Yeah. So things are going pretty terrible.
Things are going really terrible, right? How will they be able to seal up the NFC North, knowing that they've got the 3 road games in the cold ahead of us?
To me, I just think they protect the football. They're going to be fine. I don't look inside this division. I know Detroit offensively showed some things early. They've kind of come back to the pack a little bit. The Packers are not right. They're not explosive. They're not going to score a bunch of points. And the Bears are, kind of lost offensively. So I just look at the Vikings and say, just protect the football. Mm-hmm. You got a better roster than everybody else in the division right now. I think that's shown out pretty well.
Yeah, all 3 phases of the game have not quite played at their greatest at the same time. Moving forward and knowing that you've got to get through a Bills team, if you want to make it to the Super Bowl, it looks like all roads lead through Philly at this point too. How do you stack up against those teams, and do you think they can?
Oh, I think they can play with all those teams. Absolutely. I think they have. And when I look at teams going into the postseason, I look at a couple things. Can you get hot quarterback play, and can you rush the passer? Mm-hmm. And I think they've got a pair of pass rushers. They've got a quarterback that can play at that level. It's about staying there and playing at that level consistently. But they've got firepower. If they can find themselves in a shootout, they can go do that. If they find themselves in kind of one of those muddy, ugly games like we saw last night with the Chargers and Broncos, I think that that grit, that toughness that they've added helps them in that atmosphere as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Daniel Jeremiah. Check out his podcast, Move the Sticks, and also on the NFL Network all the time. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Ryan Wright, my new favorite player.
You're going to have to go look him up. I'm telling you.